What's going on, guys? I'm back with another 31 Days of Halloween review, and today we're going to be doing Casper. And if you thought my accent was bad in the last couple videos, get ready for this one. Casper is a friendly young ghost who peacefully haunts a mansion in Maine. When Specialist James Harvey arrives to communicate with Casper and his fellow spirits, he brings along his teenage daughter, Kat. Casper quickly falls in love with Kat, but their budding relationship is complicated not only by his transparent state, but also his troublemaking uncles and their mischievous antics. Right off the bat, at its core, Casper is cute and charming, while also being fairly self-aware for how silly it is. I found the general story to be somewhat original, but happened to really fall into an oddly paced, formulaic pattern with loads of logic issues. I'll get into a few positives first, then get into the anchoring issues. For me, I thought most of the characters were the driving force, especially Casper. Casper is such an enjoyable and lovable protagonist, where he probably gets the most depth out of everyone, which definitely benefits the film. The many moments where Casper could just be Casper was mainly the highlight of the film, where I thought it was pretty cool to see what he was able to do, and how he was able to manipulate his body to do what he wanted it to do. There were definitely some parts where less is more, but for me, Casper was the best character. The Uncle Ghosts in the film, I thought did a pretty good job for what they are and what they were given, bringing some of the best moments out of Casper, while also having their own fun as well. The voice acting for all the ghosts fit extremely well, where Casper almost comes off like a sweet doll, if that makes sense. And the uncles, while still having a brash tone, still have a lot of fun and uniqueness to their voices. As for the people characters in Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman, they were just fine. Neither of their characters really stuck out tremendously, doing just a fine job, where I feel they casted Ricci just because she was in Addams Family, so it kind of fits the mold. But the one thing I will commend them on to some regard is the fact they were mainly acting with nothing there, due to the ghosts being just CGI. Again, the script was just fine, really nothing stuck out with that. It was real by the numbers, but I will give them some credit for some of the comedy. You can tell they actually put a lot of effort into it, where they wrote some pretty nifty ghost-like jokes for the ghost, while also having some pretty rich banter between all the characters. One of the bigger highlights for me was definitely the CGI. With this being a mid-90s film, I wouldn't necessarily expect a groundbreaking style, and this surely wasn't that. But again, you can definitely tell they put a lot of effort into it, where most of the CGI, especially the ghost, looked really well done. At times, they can be a bit dim or fuzzy, but overall, the ghosts were pretty well pronounced, where there was definitely a good bit of style in the CGI. Now on to the negatives. God, I tried hard to like this movie at least a little bit, considering it's a piece of my childhood, but this is just a weird, convoluted mess. There's definitely more than just one element that went wrong, but the biggest issue I had that knocks off multiple points is the story and many unnecessary plots. Without getting into spoiler territory, I counted roughly 6 different plots that mainly go nowhere and about 3 different conflicts at the end. How are you supposed to make a coherent film when you simply don't know what you want to go for? Subplots can certainly benefit the main premise, along with different conflicts, but this film basically just threw shit at a wall to see what would stick. For me, I feel like if they would have trimmed a large amount of the excess fat to the story, then beefed up one of the plot lines and let the characters drive it, this film would have been just fine. But it turns out to be one messy pile of half ideas. With a 100-minute runtime, most plots are just quite literally introduced, then moved on from, then reintroduced later to remind you that they're still there. Nothing was really able to breathe or develop, where the film would just go, so nothing really felt earned. One of the other issues I had was the constant jokes. I'd be lying if I said I didn't chuckle at least a few, but most of the silly puns didn't really hit as often as they may have thought. Well, I feel they thought it was better than it actually was. Alongside the jokes, when the ghosts weren't involved, the people conversations were dreadfully flat, especially when it was just a kid talking to another kid. It just seemed like they forgot or didn't know how to genuinely interact with one another. And my last issue, outside of some nitpicks, was simply some of the plots and bits of dialogue either not making much sense or just being pretty weird, where it almost took me out of the movie several times. A ghost being in love with a kid? Just not a bit of me. That's just a bit weird. Overall, I wish there was more to praise about this film, because this was a childhood great for me. But damn, this was so messy. 4 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you think of Casper in the comments below, and let me know what film you'd like to see me review next. See you guys on the next one.